Hey guys, what's up? Tim Queen here, and today we're going to talk about bold text on LinkedIn, how you can get it, how you can get all kinds of text formatting that you're normally not allowed to use in your LinkedIn post. And then we're going to talk about if you should actually do that and what are the downsides of using that for the reach of your post. So let's have a look on my computer. Now, this is an example website how you can generate those special characters. You can usually search for Unicode text converter. You might find something if you look for fancy text generator or glitch text generator. There is a lot of different generators. They usually kind of work the same. So you basically go here and you key in a word, then you press enter and it will generate the text for you. And then all you have to do is you have to select this and then you have to copy it. And then you go to your LinkedIn post. So as an example, I'm going to paste a couple of those variations in this text document, and I'm going to show you the downside of using them. There's all kinds of different fonts. You could take one with an outline, paste this here. There's all kinds of funky variations what you could do. Let's go over here and look at some of the other generators. So usually they have the same patterns in each and every one of them, but occasionally you might find one. See, this one is the same, but then there is another variation over here, which is in square brackets. And then you have like some that looks more like a bold text. And then we have some versions, which is like italics. Is that different? Yeah, we have an outline. There's so many variations. You have versions with an underlined text. Sometimes it doesn't look just right, depending on the font you're using. Let's have a look over here. So this one is actually quite cool, which is an upside down variation. And then we have the glitch text, which is using, I'm going to show you where this is coming from in a minute, but let's paste this in here too. Now, when we go here, and I'm going to show you the problem with this text. When we search for the name, Tim Queen in this example, and then press enter, you see it just finds it once. It doesn't highlight any of the other variations because it doesn't recognize it. Because what I'm searching for, let me show you what I'm searching for. So I'm typing normal text in a search field, and this is the normal text variation. And how this actually works, all of those fonts, it's called Unicode. It's basically a huge table which contains every language, every character in any language available. So what we actually looking at is this. When we are typing regular text, we're just using this small portion of the Unicode table, meaning we have all the large caps characters, we have the small caps. Now, when I'm writing my name, there is technically no such thing as the letter T. It's basically a Unicode character, and in this case, it has the ID 54. So that's technically what the computer will look up when I'm typing in a regular key on the keyboard. It will look if there is a encoded message, is there an encoded character with the number 54? And then it will further look up if there is a small I, in this case 69. And then the next one would be the M, in this case it's 6D. So, and it will look for this binary sequence, which is encoded behind the Unicode code to match this. So it will find any binary code which has the ID of 54. But when you're writing something like this one is not a T. It's somewhere completely else. So let's have a look where this is coming from. So we find this, and it's called the negative circle Latin capital letter T. So this ID 1F163 is completely different than what we had earlier, which was, I believe, 54. Yeah. So the idea is completely different. There is a completely different binary code behind it. And now you might ask, like, well, to me it looks like a T, Tim. And I'm like, yeah, to you it looks like this because you're using your human brain, which is really good at decoding this kind of messages. But for the computer is dumb and stupid. So when you're using this kind of text in your LinkedIn post, what you're doing is you are creating text that LinkedIn doesn't understand. So for example, imagine I was writing about marketing, but instead of using the regular words marketing, I would come here and I'm using marketing. And you're like, well, great, I can read this, but LinkedIn wouldn't understand what your post is all about. So, and you're like, why does it matter what LinkedIn understands about my post? The thing is, what LinkedIn is trying to do is to understand what is your post all about and then matching the keywords with interests of users. So if you want to get organic discoverability with your post and get a huge organic reach, it's really important that LinkedIn is able to match what your post is all about with people interested in that topic. If you are writing your message and you're overwriting huge portions of your LinkedIn post with fancy looking text, it may look cool, but LinkedIn wouldn't understand. If I'm replacing all the words with marketing, LinkedIn doesn't know what this post is all about, and it might show it to random people who follow me or who are connected with me. And if they don't react positively, because they might not even be interested, they will see the word marketing, but like, I'm not interested in marketing, like, never mind, like, go away. And then they don't engage with it, they don't like it, they don't read it, they don't click on any link, they don't comment, they don't share. And when I'm not getting the engagement, LinkedIn will think it's a bad post and then they will go. So it's really important to make sure that LinkedIn understands what your post is all about. Then it will show it to people who are most likely to engage with it, because LinkedIn knows from the past that certain people have engaged with similar content on similar topics. You can, of course, use hashtags, hashtag marketing, but LinkedIn will also take into consideration regular words that you have in your content and then match that. So for that reason, I would really recommend to be very careful about using this kind of Unicode text converter. Only use it very sparingly. And if it's an important word such as like marketing, if my post was about marketing, I want to make sure that at least one word is written as regular marketing, and I'm not only using any of those fancy text generators. Another thing you should keep in mind when you're creating this kind of content, it will quickly look too much. I've seen people completely getting out of control. Basically, their posts would look something like this. There is 20 different formattings inside, and then on top of that there is emojis and even like mixing it from line to line. And this makes it really difficult to read. It takes the human brain a few seconds to process if you're changing the font. And what you normally want to do is you want to use that to communicate information. For example, if you have an important point, you want to use a different font. But if you are like switching up too many different fonts, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then the brain is completely overwhelmed and they don't know what does it mean. Like, why are you using this font for that text and this font for something else? The idea of structure and hierarchy that you can normally convey in a regular design website or text document is gone, because people can't make sense of like, what does the font mean? So it's really easy to confuse your audience when they're reading it. And if you're getting a confused audience, your engagement goes down. And then you're not getting the organic reach that you might have had if you had used it properly. So that's my recommendation. Be very careful about using it. Make sure that you are using regular text, at least additional text variation of regular text for your main keywords. And also make sure that you use the proper hashtags if you're using that, to make sure that your content will be still put in the right interest category, so LinkedIn can match up with interesting people in your audience. And if you want to learn more about LinkedIn hashtags, head over to my website, timqueen.com, and download my LinkedIn hashtag guide, a 33-page ebook that teaches you everything there is to know how to use LinkedIn hashtag for organic discoverability to attract new audience and grow a loyal fan base. Also make sure that you check out my LinkedIn Accelerator program, which teaches you exactly how to build a complete LinkedIn sales funnel from A to Z. And if you want to get more videos about LinkedIn marketing, also make sure that you hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, smash the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you want me to record next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.